So this is my first try at this, so I will hopefully get better as we go through this year. I wanted to work with you on math homework 1-3 and give you some tips and give you some answers for a couple of problems so that you know how to do them and your child knows how to do them. First, I want to review by talking about fractions. Up here in the corner, you will see up in the top left corner, your fraction consists of two numbers. The top number is called the numerator, and that is on top of the fraction bar over the denominator. And the way that we remember that the denominator is on the bottom is because we always say down denominator or denominator down. And what we are going to be doing with these fractions is working with equivalent fractions. And here in the center, I have the definition of equivalent fractions. They are different fractions that name the same number. And over here on your right, you will see two equivalent fractions. Of course, this whole pie is cut into 4 sections. That is why we say the denominator on this particular piece is 4. There are 3 portions out of the 4 that are shaded in. That is called your numerator. So down here you see that you have 3/4. Off to your right, you notice that visually the blue shaded area is the same as this blue shaded area over here. However, we have cut each of the fourths into 2 sections rather than just the 1 section. In that case, we now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces of the pie, or the denominator is 8, and the shaded area is now 6, which is the numerator, 6/8. That is how these two fractions are equivalent. We can change any fraction into an equivalent fraction by either multiplying the fraction by 1 whole, or you can divide your fraction by 1 whole. Okay, so in order to make this easier, we use another fraction in place of the 1 whole. The way that you can keep your fraction to equal 1 whole is by making sure that your numerator and your denominator are the exact same number. For instance, 4/4 is equal to 1 whole. 9/9 is equal to 1 whole, or 2/2 is equal to 1 whole. So when you come down here and you notice that your first fraction is 4/12, they want you to break that down into an equivalent fraction of 1/3. Now, when you look from 12 to the 3 on the denominator, you notice that you need to divide in order to get from 12 to 3. You also notice that you are getting smaller on the numerator. You are going from 4 to 1, which means you are dividing. And this section right here, oops, excuse my division sign. It's not the greatest trying to draw it. It actually gives you a hint. It actually says divisor down at the bottom. I am on problem 2 of the homework 1-3 that you are working on this week. The divisor is asking you what your numerator and your denominator are on your whole fraction. So to get from 4 to 1 by dividing, we know that we need to divide 4 by 4. Now, remember, we need to keep this as 1 whole. So I know that I need to have the denominator the exact same as the numerator to keep it at 1 whole, and that would be 4. And this makes sense because 12 divided by 4 is in fact 3. So when you come down here, you write your divisor is 4. Okay? On problem number 3, we notice that we are going from a fraction of 2/9 up to 6/27. Our number on the denominator is bigger, and our numerator, on the top is also bigger than our original fraction. We know that these parts are going to be smaller than these parts. So we are going to make more of them, as in what we did with the 3/4 going to 6/8. Here you have larger pieces, which is a smaller fraction, and smaller pieces, which is larger numbers for your numerator and denominator. This also gives you a hint. We are multiplying to go from 9 to 27 and multiplying from 2 to 6. Again, whatever we do to the bottom or the denominator, we also have to do to the top or the numerator. In this case, I know that if I multiply 2 by 3, I will get 6. I also know that if I multiply 9 by 3, I will get 27. And there you have equivalent fractions with a multiplier of 3. I hope that helps you out. Please let me know if there's anything else you need.